going on?
What's up, Nick?
What you got? Why aren't you Christian?
Cool, cool. So the reason why I'm not Christian, I just think the Trinity makes absolutely no sense.
What doesn't make sense about it?
So basically, Nick, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit doesn't make sense to me.
What doesn't make sense about it?
Okay, cool. I got you. You're right. I didn't answer that question. So let me answer it. So, in order to be divine, you have to have all essential properties, correct?
Yep.
The necessity to be God is you have to have all the omni properties.
Yep.
Unfortunately, yes, Jesus has the divine nature and the human nature and his intrinsic nature. I understand that point. But then again, it gets to the point where is he created or uncreated?
Yeah.
And it can't be, right? If the distinction, it can't be one or the other. Because if it is, that means it's a contradiction, right?
No. You don't. I don't think you know what a contradiction is. A contradiction is something that cannot be A and not A in the same sense. So we can say one nature is created while the other nature is uncreated. That doesn't break any law of non-contradiction.
No, because it would be opposing. That's what contradiction is. It's opposing. It can't be
That's not what
uncreated and
a
created.
contradiction is. The same A and not A in the same sense. So if I said one nature was both created and uncreated, that would be a contradiction. To say one nature is created and another nature that is distinct from it is uncreated is not a contradiction.
So I get the two separate, right, distinctions of natures. I understand that point. But I'm talking about Jesus in the flesh, the incarnation, right? Was Jesus, let me ask you this, Nick. Was Jesus created or uncreated?
The person,
The person, yes, the
uncreated,
flesh.
uncreated. The flesh is the nature, not the person. But yeah, the person was uncreated.
The flesh is a person? Nick,
No,
explain that to
I
me.
said the flesh is the nature, not the person.
Okay. Explain that to me, Nick. I'm trying to understand that.
Yes,
That's what I'm
because
saying. It doesn't make
a
sense.
flesh is a
Go ahead.
property of a nature, so therefore it's not a person because a person is not a
Correct. The
property of a nature.
intrinsic nature. Correct. So the person itself, right? What I'm trying to understand. So when he has the divine nature, okay, which is all the omni properties, all the essential properties to be God, right?
Yep.
Give me contemporary evidence where he has that divine nature.
Yeah, when
Jesus,
he
I'm talking
yeah,
about,
when
not Yahweh. Jesus.
yeah, Jesus, when Jesus literally said that he does everything the Father does in John
I
chapter
listen.
5.
Don't tell me because he says that he does everything the Father does. Give me proof that the divine proof,
What do you mean by divine proof?
divine, as in God, God doing so. To be God, you have to be divine. To be divine, you
When
have
he
to have all omni
when he
properties.
raised himself from the dead.
That's not proof, Nick.
So
That's
what do you need as proof?
I said contemporary evidence. What does that mean?
What do you mean when you say contemplary evidence?
So, like as an evidence, proof. That's it's very
What
simple.
kind of
Proof.
evidence? Because I just gave you evidence, but what kind of evidence?
What backs your evidence?
Bro, I'm asking what kind of evidence do you want? Because I just gave you two pieces and you're saying no. So what kind of evidence do you need?
That's you didn't give me any type
I
of
literally
evidence.
did. I said that he
You just
raised
said
himself from
because
the
he
dead.
listen, I'm gonna repeat what you said. You said is because what the Father does, he does. That's what you told me,
No, I
Nick.
said because he raised himself from the dead.
Okay, that's one of yes, that's the second point I'm getting to. So the second reasoning you gave me, which is one was not sufficient. The second one is because he raised himself from the dead.
Yep.
What are you basing this evidence on?
The Bible.
So you're basing it on so we're going back now to your theology of the Bible.
That's what you asked for. Yeah.
All right. And then it's going to lead to a whole separate conversation of many contradictions in the Bible where I'm not trying to even get into with you, Nick. I'm just trying to get you
So what would
with
you
this
need as evidence?
I need contemporary evidence of the
What give
Trinity
me an
making
example
sense.
of what kind of evidence you would need?
So I'll give you evidence where it doesn't make any
Do you need
sense.
metaphysical evidence, historical evidence? What evidence do you need?
You could listen, historical evidence I don't need because it's going to go back to a book that I don't
So what
have
kind of
any belief
evidence
in.
do you need? Metaphysical, logical, what do you need?
Okay, You could give me metaphysical, logical. Don't give me the Bible. I don't need historical evidence
Wait,
because
how do we know
that
any
book.
how do we know anything without Jesus without using historical documentation?
What do you mean? You
How
don't
do
need
we know
historical.
anything about Jesus without historical documentation?
Okay, okay. You could okay. I'm talking about the idea itself alone, right? Yes, yeah. So the Trinity, the does it and does it in the Bible teach the Trinity?
Yes.
Where?
You can go to, for example, Isaiah chapter 48, verse 12 to 16.
Just pull it up if you can, please.
Fantastic. Yep, fantastic. All right. Listen to me, O Jacob and Israel, my called. I am he. I am the first and the last. Indeed, my hand has laid the foundation of the earth, and my right hand has stretched out to the heavens. When I call to them, they stand up together. So right now, the Most High God is speaking, the God who created all things. All right.
Okay, that's Yahweh. Okay.
All right. All of you assemble yourselves and hear who among them has declared these things. The Lord loves him. He shall do his pleasure on Babylon. Even I have spoken. Yes, I have called him. I brought him, and his way will prosper. Come near to me and hear this. I have not spoken in secret from the beginning. From the time that it was, I was there. So it's still Yahweh speaking, right?
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
I just said it, yeah.
Okay. And then he says, and now the Lord Yahweh and his spirit have sent me. So why did Yahweh say that Yahweh and his spirit sent him?
I don't know.
Because it's the Trinity. It's three distinct persons that are
So
same
where's
God.
Jesus?
That's literally Jesus speaking because he's the one that's sent in the New Testament.
So does it say Jesus is speaking?
We know that it's the Messiah. You can literally go to Isaiah 53 and see that is the Messiah is the
Okay.
one to be sent.
So again, you bring me a verse that doesn't explain the Trinity. It gave you a portion of
It
the
didn't give you a
Trinity, correct?
portion and named it. It literally said all there's three persons.
I don't know about you, but I didn't see Jesus mentioned.
Oh, gosh. Okay, do you agree that it shows that there are three distinct persons that are God there?
Okay, it could show even if it's let's just say for example, I'll grant you it shows three distinct persons. I told you my specific
And I can
question.
show you that one of those distinct persons, the one who is sent, is Jesus. So,
Okay, so you have to give me another verse now.
yep, fantastic.
So
Yep, go ahead.
not the same verse. So now it's going to give me
Yeah, I
another
can literally,
portion.
yeah, I
Not the
can literally go to the same exact chapter. It's like literally five chapters later. What do you mean?
okay. So but that's what I'm saying. It's not in within the verse.
Yes, I'm sorry.
You're
We
going to
have
give me
to.
another
Yeah, I'm sorry
chapter.
that we have to actually read the text. We don't just base our theology off of one verse alone. I'm sorry. We actually have to read.
No. Stop
You have
trying
to
to
do.
say
You
this.
have to do critical
Stop.
thinking here in Christianity.
I'm not. Stop that, Nick. Stop. Yeah. Listen. I'm not saying that you can't pull up another verse. I'm giving you. You said right. I asked you. Show me in the Bible specifically where it explains the Trinity, and it doesn't.
Yep, I just
It
showed
gives
you
you a
where it explains
portion.
that there are three
Yes,
distinct
it gives
persons
you
out of the
Nick.
same God.
Okay, it gives you, like I said, a portion, right? And then you have to go to another related verse that you try to connect it. One plus one.
Do you
No,
think that
give
there
me
is any possible way that God could fit everything about the Trinity in a single verse?
yes.
So
Just
God, who is
simply
God, who is infinite, can fit everything about
yes.
Himself in a single verse.
No, not everything. You said
How,
about the Trinity. That's
so
what you just said. The
okay, is
Trinity.
the Trinity is God. God is infinite. How the frick do you want Him to fit everything about infinity in one verse?
You're a funny guy, Nick. You're funny. Um, but listen, like I said, you never answered my
Okay,
question.
is critical thinking too hard to go to five chapters later when he also talks about it even
It's
more,
not.
or is that?
It's not.
So what's
I'm
the
not
issue
telling
with
you
that?
it's
So how
hard.
does that disprove that we have to go five chapters later? How does that disprove the Trinity in any way, shape, or form?
Did I ever say because you have to go 5 chapters over that it's going to
Okay,
disprove
so
the
what's the
Trinity?
issue then? If it doesn't disprove it, what's the issue?
What was the original argument, Nick? If you were
There
tracking
wasn't an
correctly.
argument. You asked a question. There was never an argument.
Okay. There was an argument because I explained to you the essential properties of God, right, which led to the Trinity. Then you told me, right? Am I not right? So I want to know what did I say after that? If you were tracking
Oh
correctly,
my gosh. You asked me where in the Bible does it show the Trinity?
okay, right? The Trinity, exactly. Okay, okay, you could track, Nick. That's good. That's good to hear. So, where in the Bible does it show the Trinity? You
I
pulled up a
just showed
verse.
you. Yeah.
Okay, and what did the verse say? Explain
That
the
there are
three
three distinct
persons, right?
persons that are the same God. Yep.
Yahweh was talking. Well, Yahweh was talking to who?
What?
Yahweh was talking to who?
Isaiah.
Isaiah, right?
Yes.
Where did it show Jesus?
That was Jesus speaking. I can show that.
You have to show that where? And a complete other verse?
What do you mean a complete? Because we're showing who is God.
How do I know it was Jesus?
Because
Don't
we can
bring.
go 5 chapters later where it shows who it is.
Okay, go to whatever. You know what? I'm gonna grant you. I don't want to keep going back and
Okay,
forth here.
Isaiah 53. If we go to Isaiah 53, it literally talks about the one who was to be sent. Who is that person that was going to be sent? And to whom of the has the arm of the Lord been revealed? For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant at a root out of dry ground. He has no form or comeliness, and when we see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him. He is despised and rejected by men, a man of sorrows, acquainted with grief, and as we hid our faces from him, he was despised, and we did not esteem him. Surely he was borne our griefs and carried our sorrows, yet we esteemed him stricken. He was wounded for our transgression, bruised for our iniquities. So who was the one that was sent down, according to the New Testament, that was bruised for our iniquities?
Jesus.
Yes. So this is literally saying the
Okay.
one who is sent is Jesus that he's talking about in Isaiah 48.
Okay, cool. This is cool. This is cool. This is nice information. Uh, which leads to my next question, which you're not going to be able to answer. Right? You ready for this, Nick?
Sure. Go ahead.
Awesome. So now that we know that Jesus was sent, correct? Where does it say Jesus is God?
When Colossians chapter 1, verse 16, where it says he created all things. Or in Hebrews chapter 1, verse 8, where the Father
In the
calls him God.
Bible? In
Yep.
the Bible?
Yes, in the Bible.
Jesus is saying that he is God.
I can literally show you where it says that the Son created all things.
No. Okay.
Or I
So
can show you where the Father calls him God. Like there's so many verses. What do you mean?
wow, Nick, this is new information. Give me a
Yeah, I
second.
know you haven't studied. That's the issue.
I don't need to study a Bible. I don't
So you're
believe
gonna
in,
argue
brother.
about something you've never studied. Okay, makes
I
sense.
said the Trinity. I wasn't arguing about the Bible. The Trinity,
Okay,
yes, a
well,
part of the Bible.
everything I'm
Correct.
saying is in the Bible. So the Father called him God is in the Bible. So
Give me a second. Give me a second. I'm in my computer. Nick. You said so in the Bible. So why do many Christians I talk to say that God? Nowhere does it say Jesus is God.
then I haven't studied because it literally says it everywhere. So
Okay, cool. So where in the Bible?
you can go to Hebrews chapter 1, verse 8.
Hebrew chapter 1, verse 8. Okay. Okay, so it says, but to the Son he says, your throne, O God, will endure forever and ever. A scepter of justice will be the scepter of your kingdom.
So why did he
This
call
verse,
him, oh God?
okay, but to the Son he says, your throne, O God. This isn't in the Bible, or in this? Is this an NIV version?
This is in the Bible.
Okay, fair enough.
I wasn't gonna be able to answer that question though, huh?
No, I was curious about that second. We already left the
Mm.
Trinity. I just wanted to answer to this one.
Yeah,
Okay.
they said I wasn't
Okay.
gonna be able to answer it though. Interesting.
No. It's. I like I said. I spoke to many Christians. Listen, I'm being cordial with you.
Yeah.
I'm being genuine. It's not like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
trying to
Now,
set
now
you up
you
for
are. Now
traps.
you got disproved. Yeah, but before that, it
No,
was
no,
you're
no.
not gonna be able to answer
You
this
didn't.
question.
Hold up. You didn't disprove me with the first part.
That's
We already.
I like how people I like humbling people. So it's okay. Go ahead.
So, oh wow. Okay. So you didn't disprove me in the first part, Nick. Just let's get that let's
I'm
get
sure.
that straight.
I'm sure.
Second part, I'll give it to you because many Christians that I spoke to, where they're mentioned as God in the text, and look, I still have to do my research. I'm
Oh,
even
I
for
know.
sure about this. So let me do my research on that.
Yep.
But for the first part, I'm sorry, Nick. You're not going to be able to answer it. You still haven't answered it. But I'm not going to spend hours talking to you, bro, because like I said, you didn't answer the first part.
Okay. Well, you go do your research. Let me know you figured out.
You happy, Nick?
Happy that you came on. All ignorant got humbled. Yeah, definitely. I love humbling people who are cocky for sure.